Hey guys, I'm Ryan Lavin and I review movies to help you manage your expectations so you're not left disappointed. And if you haven't already, why don't you go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything along the way. Now in this video, we're going to be talking about 1922. Now I have to be honest with you, I haven't been a huge fan of Netflix's original movies. Now I've really enjoyed the series they've put out over the years, but this is only the second movie that I've actually seen from Netflix that I really enjoyed. So let me tell you a little about it. So 1922 is an adaptation of a Stephen King novel that goes by the same name. It's about a Nebraskan farmer that chooses to murder his wife, and then from that point forward, he becomes haunted both literally and physically by the decision he has made. Now this isn't your typical horror movie, largely because it doesn't rely on violence and gore to really get you going. Instead, it takes the time to really craft some interesting characters. It builds a story from start to finish and crafts this environment that really makes those horror elements pay off in the end. So it may seem a little slow at first, but give it a chance. It's still worth it. The Witch is a really good example of a movie that did this well. It actually took their characters and the circumstances they were in to create an environment that left you on edge. And that's exactly what 1922 does. It takes its characters and the circumstances they're in to create that environment that really leaves you anticipating what's coming next. Now the big difference is in The Witch, they actually make you wait to the very end of the movie before you experience any kind of payoff. You're not going to have to wait that long in 1922. You are going to have to be prepared to spend a little bit of time with these characters, getting to know them, understanding the circumstances, but you're going to experience payoff before the end of the movie. So Wilfred James is your main character in this movie, and he's played by a guy named Thomas Jane, who I thought did an excellent job. Now this character is the kind of guy that grew up on a farm and really believes in the simple life. He has a thick country accent, but don't be fooled. He is highly intelligent, far more intelligent than people give him credit for. I think he would use the word conniving. I actually would use the word manipulative, because he manipulates everyone around him, whether it be his son, his wife, or even the sheriff when they come snooping around. That quality is probably what I find most interesting about him. He also is a very prideful man that refuses to admit defeat even when that's all there is left. Now you would think a character like that would have no redeeming qualities whatsoever, but the truth is he also has a real affection for his son. It's clear when you watch this movie, every decision he makes, he believes is in the best interest of his boy. And all the characters seem to be developed really well, a lot like this. As a matter of fact, his son is probably the first teenage character I've ever seen on screen that actually acts like a teenager. The boy is a good kid at heart. He really is. But he's impulsive, and at the same time, when you back him into a corner, he lashes out. But the character that I think that really caught my eye the most, the actor that caught my eye the most, was Neil McDonough. If you're a fan of the CW, he plays Damien Dark in season 5 of Arrow, as well as season 2 of Legend of Tomorrow. He's also been in a few other things that I'm not as familiar with, like Desperate Housewives. He's playing a character named Harlan in this movie, and he's best friends and neighbors with our main character, Wilford. And this is what you find. When you watch the movie, it's pretty clear that anytime you see Harlan on screen, you're seeing him from the envious perspective of Wilford. So what you see isn't necessarily what you get. Now, there are a few other things I want to mention just real quick in passing. One of the first ones I want to talk about is the cinematography. Now, this is the kind of thing that could really be overlooked in a movie like this, largely because it takes place in the middle of nowhere. There's just not a whole lot to see. But there are a few shots of really beautiful skylines, and there's one point where it just really framed the characters perfectly that made me step back and say, you know what? The cinematography of this movie is really something special. A lot of those wide shots where you see cornfields and skyline do a really great job of impressing upon you exactly how isolated this part of the world is and how easy it would be for something like this to happen. The other thing I want to mention is the music. Now, the music for the most part worked really well. I felt like it built suspense the way it needed to, but there are some choices that take place early on in the movie that were kind of hard for me to get through. As a matter of fact, they come across as almost comedic. If you go down and check out the link below, I'll actually leave a link to the trailer, and if you watch the trailer, you'll get a little bit of a sense of this. So not all the music worked for me. So here's my advice. You need to make sure you watch this movie. But when you do, you got to make sure you're in the right mindset. If you are in the mood to see a movie that is going to make you jump out of your skin right off the bat, you probably need to table this in and wait for another day, because this is not the movie that's going to do that. You're going to have to take your time, really get to know these characters, really submerge yourself in this environment before it really catches on. So if you're home alone one night, that's when you watch this movie. You turn it on, you take a little bit of time to get invested in the characters, and you let the wind outside start playing tricks on you. So that's what I thought about 1922, but that doesn't really matter. All that matters is what you thought about it. So why don't you jump in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts. And as always, if you made it to this point in the video, that means you must have liked it. So why don't you go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and then make sure you hit the subscribe button on your way out so you're kept up to date next time I get ready to upload a new video.